As Patrick Mahomes continues to build upon his legacy as one of the greatest quarterbacks to have ever played in the NFL, it is sometimes comical to read out some of his accomplishments. Much of Mahomes' greatness isn't predicated on what he has done in the regular season, but what he routinely does in the playoffs. At just 29 years young, Mahomes' playoff record puts him in a league of his own. His 41 touchdowns tower over the next closest, Brett Favre, who has 23. His 1.3 interception ratio is the lowest of any of the 20 quarterbacks with the most career playoff passing attempts. In fact, in his last 7 postseason games across the Chiefs' back-to-back Super Bowl runs, Mahomes has thrown for 249 pass attempts and been nearly mistake-free with just 1 interception, 1 lost fumble, and 30 sacks yards lost. However, what I find the most impressive is the inevitability of Mahomes. When trailing, Mahomes' EPA per play, a stat that measures the effect of each play has on the offense's likelihood to score, is astronomically higher than every other quarterback within the last 5 minutes, which is at 0.4. Oh, and if that's not enough, he has produced 5 playoff comebacks with his team trailing by at least 10 points. Since 2018, the Chiefs are 5-2 in playoff games when trailing by 10 or more points at any time, while the rest of the NFL is 8-55 in such games. In 1957, the NFL consisted of 12 teams split into 2 conferences, the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference, with 6 teams in each. In the 12-game regular season of 1957, only 5 quarterbacks threw more touchdowns than interceptions, and only 1 threw 2 more touchdowns than interceptions. The running game reigned supreme as the NFL relied on a running back by committee approach with unique positions and formations that necessitated their use. In this era, it was common for running backs to have more fumbles than touchdowns. Take 3-year veteran Billy Wells, for instance. In 1957, Wells had 8 starts across 3 different teams, carrying the ball 154 times for over 500 yards and a staggering 8 fumbles and 0 total touchdowns. Now, when you contrast that to 21-year-old rookie Jim Brown, you'll understand why he was regarded as a man amongst boys when he began his career. Jim Brown's rookie season was the best in the league, yet it was also his least prolific season. His 942 rushing yards towered over the second-place finisher, Rick Caceres, who managed only 700 yards on 2 more carries than Brown. Brown's 9 rushing touchdowns led the league, while no other player had more than 7. The Browns' passing game ranked a mere 10th out of 12 teams in yards, throwing only 12 touchdowns as a whole team. The team's other running back didn't have enough of a spectacular season that would give credence to the idea that Brown was carried by a great offensive line. Chet Hanuluk managed a disappointing 3.0 yards per carry average on 125 attempts, while Lou Carpenter fared only slightly better with 3.8 yards per carry on 83 attempts. Brown's 4.7 yards per carry ranked him 4th in the NFL, while none of the 3 names above him carried the ball more than 130 times. In fact, of all the players that rushed more than 130 times in 1957, only 2 players had a per carry average of 4.0 or above, with the highest, Ollie Matson, at 4.3. Randall Cunningham was David Carr before David Carr. In his rookie season, he started just 4 games and was sacked 20 times. He took that to the next level in the second season. In 1986, the elusive quarterback started 5 games but was sacked a whopping 72 times. From November 16th to December 7th, Cunningham was sacked a total of 40 times for 247 yards. No other quarterback has ever been sacked 9 or more times 2 games in a row. Randall did it in 4 straight. On November 16th against the Lions, he was sacked 10 times for 62 yards in a loss. He followed that up with 9 sacks on the 23rd at the Seattle Seahawks for 33 yards in a loss. To end the month in Los Angeles, he took 11 sacks for 57 yards, this time in a win. He began the month of December with 10 sacks against the St. Louis Cardinals for 95 yards and a tie. For comparison, the NFL record for sacks in a season is David Carr, who was sacked 76 times in 2002. He threw 444 passes that season, meaning that he got just under 15% of the time. In 1986, Randall Cunningham attempted 209 passes and got sacked just over 26% of the time. Speaking of sacks, legendary quarterback Dan Marino threw 759 consecutive passes without taking a sack. This happened in 19 games. From 1988 to 1989, Marino averaged 284 yards per game on a 57.6 completion percentage, a 7.35 yards per attempt, with 33 touchdowns and 33 interceptions. Marino had a 77 passer rating, and the Dolphins went 9-10 in that span. The Baltimore Ravens and the Minnesota Vikings play different conferences and have only ever matched up 7 times. In the seasons when the Vikings won against the Ravens, the team reached the NFC Championship. This happened in 1998, 2009, and 2017. During the season in which the Vikings lost to the Ravens, the Vikings head coach was terminated. This happened in 2001, 05, and 2013. Larry Fitzgerald is regarded as the greatest receiver in the Cardinals' history. Throughout his 17-year career, the future Hall of Famer has amassed 1,432 receptions for 17,492 yards and 121 touchdowns. What's even more impressive is that Fitzgerald only had 28 drop passes throughout his career. Fitzgerald had more tackles, 41, than drop passes. For the Cardinals, this is a player to hang their hat on because the organization has been far from competent. The Cardinals have had various iterations throughout their history. The team has resided in Chicago, St. Louis, and now Arizona. The Cardinals can trace their history back to 1898, yet they do not receive the same fanfare as other historic organizations. The relocations certainly have much to do with this. However, it's also the organization's lack of success and ineptitude that has them as the bottom tier organization. The Cardinals have had fewer playoff wins than both the Green Bay Packers and the Chicago Bears have championships, despite being well over 100 years old. The Carolina Panthers joined the league in 1993, and they have more playoff wins than the Cardinals. Excluding the team's playoff appearance in the late 2000s, they've achieved almost nothing of note. Their only championship came before the Super Bowl era in 1925 and 1947. There is some controversy regarding their 1925 championship victory. During those seasons, the NFL champions were the teams with the best records once the season concluded, and teams had the luxury of creating their exhibition schedules that were against teams outside the league. The Pottsville Maroons of Pennsylvania and the Chicago Cardinals concluded the 1925 season with similar records. The 9-2 Maroons were playing their first season in the league and headed into their second to last game of the season with a 9-1-1 first-place Chicago Cardinals to battle for the 1925 NFL championship. The Maroons emerged victorious with a 21-7 score. The nearby Frankfurt Yellow Jackets were, in 1925, the top professional football attraction in the Philadelphia area. Earlier in the season, the Yellow Jacket had upset the Pottsville Maroons at home by a score of 20-0. Believing they were the inevitable 1925 champions, the Frankfurt team signed a contract with the Philadelphia promoter that allowed the NFL's best team in Pennsylvania, whoever it might be, to play a non-league game against the team of former Notre Dame stars. After the Yellow Jackets were beaten by Pottsville later in the season, and Pottsville Maroons clinched the NFL title, they were eager to cash in on the exhibition game. Instead of playing at the Maroons' home stadium, which was a bit smaller, the game was scheduled in a stadium in Philadelphia to draw a larger crowd. Pottsville held on to beat the Notre Dame Stars by a score of 9-7. The Frankfurt Yellow Jackets protested, saying that it was violating their protected territory right and drawing fans away from the Frankfurt game scheduled for the same day. Although NFL President Joe Carr warned the Maroons in writing that they faced suspension if they played the game in Philadelphia, the Maroons claimed that Carr had previously approved the game during a telephone call and played anyway. In response, Carr fined the club, suspended it from all league rights and privileges, including the rights to play for the NFL championship, and returned its franchise to the league. Once Pottsville had been eliminated from the standings, the Chicago Cardinals were left with the highest winning percentage in the NFL and is currently recognized as the 1925 champions.